I'm going to be making a couple of coasters today using these coaster moulds and this puzzle mould and a UvDft sticker. So I think we'll do the bases first, so let's pop those to one side and we'll start with these two. I'm going to be doing the bases in Eco Resin, and JDiction have very kindly sent me out their ResinCrete. This is a water-based eco resin and it's demoldable in 30 minutes and it's measured 3:1 by weight. So it gives you some examples here on the back. 100 grams powder, 30 grams water, 200 grams powder, 60 grams water, and so on. You've got a work time of 8 minutes, demold time 30 minutes, and it does give you a hint here that says if the mould is thin, it's advisable to prolong the demoulding time. So let's get some of this measured out. So I think I'll do 200 grams. So let's change that over to grams. And then I'm going to add 60 grams of water. Oops, a bit too much there. Let's just pour a little bit of that out. That would do, 61. And then I'm going to add to that 200 grams of the powder. So I'm going to tear my scale now and then add the powder to the water. So that's 92, 67, 167, nearly there, 200 grams of the powder. So I'm just going to get that mixed in. That mixed in so easy. That's just like silk in there now. Lovely. Right, let's pop that out the way. And I'm going to use the JDiction ResinCrete pigment in blue. So I think I'm just going to do this like a marbly. So let's pop a couple of drops of that into there, 3 I think. And then I'm just going to give that a little bit of a swish around. And then we're going to pour this straight into the moulds. So just taking it nice and slowly, just letting it find its own way down into those little sections down the sides there. So that's that one. And then the same again with this one. Just pour that in there. And I have been lucky enough to use this before when the lovely Jessica from Flow Art by Jessica sent me out these wonderful gift boxes that she did with a collaboration with JDiction. So from what I've used it before, I found you don't have to tap the living daylights out of it like you do with some ecos. So I'm literally going to leave it as that, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. It's been 30 minutes and these are cured now, and with the leftover ResinCrete I just popped it into a little turtle mould. So let's see how this has come out. Look at that last little fin out there. Oh, that's pretty. And not one bubble in there. Lovely. Right, let's pop these two out next. Get that one out. And then same with that one. Oh, nice. That looks lovely. Nice bit of marbling going on there. So it looks, oh, that one's nice as well. I like those. Right, so next we need to do the puzzle pieces. So for the puzzle pieces, I'm going to be using some of the JDiction epoxy resin. This is a 1:1 resin that's measured by weight. So I'm going to measure out. I don't think I'm going to need a lot for these puzzle pieces. So I think I'll do, let's do 50 grams of each. So 50 grams. Actually, I'm not going to need that, I don't think. Actually, yeah, let's be on the safe side. Let's do 50 mil, I'm doing, sorry, 50 mil of part B, turn the scale, and then 50 mil of part A. Just pop that into there. 51, that'll be fine. And get that mixed up. That's all nicely mixed together now. So I'm going to add to that some of the crushed crystal, just a tiny little bit. I'm going to keep these plain because I've got that DTF sticker to go on the top. So I'm just going to mix that in. So now that's all nicely mixed in. Lovely bit of glittery shimmer going on in there. So I'm going to give my mould a quick spray with some 99% alcohol. There's quite a few little edges in this puzzle piece mould. So I'm just going to fill these all up. So I'm sure you don't need to see me doing this to all of these pieces. So I'll do this on a quick fast forward. Right, that's those done. So I'm just going to top up any that I think might be a bit short. So I think that one needs a bit more. So I'll do this, and I've still got quite a bit left. So I'll find something for my leftover resin, and then I'll see you back for demould. I've taken my gloves off and I've managed to get resin over my hands. But luckily, JDiction also sent me out some of their Resin Quick Remover Gel. Effortless resin removal, gentle and skin friendly, fast acting formula, perfect for art crafters. So apply a small amount of cleaner gel to hands, gently massage it into the skin, focusing on resin stained areas. Rinse thoroughly with water, repeat as needed. So let's give this a try. Let's do a couple of pumps of that and then give my hands a good scrub. It's got these little, I don't know if you can see it there, it's got those little bits in it that are going to act as like an exfoliator, and I can feel those on my hands there doing the job. So just get all into there, and I am quite sensitive to the gloves anyway, so I do like to wash my hands every time I take my gloves off, regardless of if I've got resin on them. So, oh, it feels lovely and smooth. Lovely. Right, so that's me done. So I'll see you back when the other bits are ready to demould. These are all cured now, and with my leftover resin I just made a little turtle. Right, so let's pop all of these out now. They'll all be the same, nice and glittery, lovely. Right, so I'll just get all these out. So these all just pop together to make two puzzle squares like that. So next I want to put my DTF over the top of those. So I think I'm just going to cut this in half. Let's see where the half is. So from there. So I'm just going to cut that down the middle. So that can go on that one, and that can go on that one. So I think let's just start with one first, and I think to make it easier so I can cut in between the puzzle pieces, I'm going to spread it out as much as I can and then put my DTF over the top of that. So I'm just going to place that straight down over the top. Let's do it about there, I think. Put that down and then just go over all of that with a squeegee. Make sure that's all firmly down in place, and then peel that top layer off. Just cut around this first, I think. Let's just trim around that bit there and peel that top layer away. So let's get rid of that piece. Oh, it's taken a bit with it there. Let's just rub that down a bit more. Let's take it from that way there. Being a little devil, that bit. Right, that's got it. Let's just give that a little squidgy down. I think those edges are alright. That's just what's not on the puzzle anyway, so that'd be okay. Right, so that's that all off. So now I can just trim round the extra bits. Get rid of that there. And then the same with that edge there. And that top section. Right, so that's how it's looking at the moment. And now I need to take a craft knife and just separate all these pieces. So hopefully I've left enough room in between each puzzle piece to be able to go round and separate them. So I'll do that for all these pieces, and then I'll see you back in a minute. That's all my puzzle pieces separated now. So that's how they're looking. Beautiful. So the idea is that they sit in that base here. Pop those in there. That one there. That one there. That one. That one. And that one. But with this mould, it's got this like angled side to it. So that's sort of sitting like with a dip in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the oopsie daisies, some of the JDiction low viscosity UV resin, and I'm just going to be ever so careful. I'm not going to put some gloves on, but I'm going to not be touching it, so it'll be okay, and I can use their lovely hand scrub afterwards. So I'm just going to put some in the base there and then just spread that around to all the sides, just so as it takes away some of that little lip. And then I'm just going to pop any bubbles using a cigarette lighter. And then we're going to cure that under a lamp for a couple of minutes. So now that's that one done, and I've done the other one as well, so they're both ready. So next, because these are coasters, I want to protect them, so I'm going to use my own homemade sealing wax. I'm just going to pop some onto a cloth and then wipe all the way around the edges with these. Brings out the colours in that lovely ResinCrete, and we'll seal it at the same time. So I'm just going to rub it all around the sides and that bit there where it's not got any UV resin on it, and then I'll do the same with the other one. I'll leave it soak in for a couple of minutes and then buff it off. Oh, and it's quite hot in the UK at the moment, so if your rooms are really hot, you can always just pop the tin of wax into your fridge, because after all it is wax, so you don't want it turn into slush. So I think I can buff this one off now, so I'm just going to give that a good buff. That's that one done, and then I'll do the same with this one. Right, so that's those done. So let's pop that away, and then these can then just sit on top there. Now it's got that layer of UV resin that sits nice and flat for your cup. So let's just put this one together in here. That bit there, that bit there, and that, that piece. Come on, in you go. And then that one, and then that one. So that's my two little jigsaw coasters all done. So you can either take them off and play with them, or leave them on there and pop your cup on there. And because these are UvDft stickers, they're not necessarily going to need sealing, so they're fine like that. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today. Thank you so much, JDiction, for sending the ResinCrete, and also a thank you to you both, JDiction and the lovely Jessica from Flow Art by Jessica, for the other bits that I've used today from the lovely gift box that she sent me. So stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
The sunlight gleaming through the pane on my little houseboat domain. Got my molds and colors bright, crafting magic day and night. Floating gently on the bay, watching little fishes play. But my mind's on swirls and gleam, living out a crafty dream. Got my epoxy hardener too, mix 'em up a shade of blue. Pour it slow with careful hand. Let's start resin in the land. Resin magic on the houseboat, turning plastic into gold. Little trinket, shiny new, crafted just for me and you. From a simple